Welcome back to another Explainer, where we take deep dives into the data and the real-world reviews to give you the clearest possible picture of the tech that's shaping our lives. Today, we're unpacking a massive topic in the world of modern dashcams, and we are focusing specifically on a really highly discussed device, the VIOFO A129 Pro Duo. We're going to look super closely at that gap, the space between what is promised on the fancy box and what drivers actually experience every single day.
So, here's the core question we're tackling today. What actually happens when top-tier 4K dashcam tech meets the totally unpredictable reality of the open road? Look, we all want peace of mind behind the wheel, right? We want to know that if something bad happens, an accident, a sketchy hit and run, some crazy dispute, we have high-definition proof. But as we comb through thousands of data points for this explainer, a really interesting tension popped up between the high-end spec sheet and the raw, unvarnished user experiences.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're hitting 1. The ultimate dashcam promise. 2. Under the hood, core specs. 3. Real drivers, life-saving wins. 4. Glitches, heat, and Wi-Fi. And finally, 5. The final verdict. Let's dive in.
Starting with Section 1, the ultimate dashcam promise. Because when you're shopping for security, the baseline expectations matter. First thing you're going to notice is the price. At basically $190, the VIOFO A129 Pro Duo sits in this really competitive kind of Goldilocks space. It's built specifically for drivers who want a serious, reliable layer of security, but who absolutely do not want to shell out for ultra-premium rigs that can easily run up to $800. For under $200, the promise here is that you're getting top-tier dual-channel coverage.
Now, looking at the global ratings breakdown, and this is based on a solid 2,906 reviews, we see a product that is generally well-loved, but man, is it polarizing. A massive 63% of users are throwing 5-star ratings at this thing, but we absolutely cannot ignore that 11% sitting down there at 1 star. That tells a really compelling story. Basically, when this camera works, it works brilliantly, but for a very specific segment of users, it totally fails. We're going to unpack exactly why that is.
Moving right along to Section 2, Under the Hood, Core Specs. Let's see what earns this thing its Pro title.
Let's geek out for a second on the optical power. The front camera is packing an 8-megapixel IMX317 sensor, and that is capturing Ultra HD Real 4K video at 30 frames per second. According to the manufacturer, that's 4 times the video quality of regular HD. And that's not just for pretty sunsets. That is absolutely critical for actually reading license plates or street signs day or night. Meanwhile, the rear camera is using an IMX291 sensor to grab 1080p video. So your back is covered, and the cool part is you don't even need a separate power cable for it. It just pulls power directly from the front unit.
Beyond just the lenses, this thing is absolutely loaded right out of the box. We're talking dual-band Wi-Fi, both 5 GHz and 2.4, which in theory gives you much faster video downloads straight to your phone. You've got a GPS logger to embed your speed and location right onto the footage, plus the standard loop recording, wide dynamic range to balance out those really harsh lighting changes, and motion detection. It's basically the whole shebang for your daily drive.
But here is a absolutely crucial point, how this thing is actually powered. Instead of a traditional lithium battery, which, if you know dashcams, you know they love to swell up or completely die in extreme heat, the VIOFO uses a supercapacitor. This is a game changer if you deal with brutal summer heat or freezing winters. It guarantees performance from a bone-chilling 5 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to a blistering 149 degrees. That ensures the hardware itself is going to last a whole lot longer. All right. Section 3, real drivers, life-saving wins. Because specs on paper are cool, but what happens when rubber meets the road? One of the absolute most praised features in our source data is the advanced parking mode. When you hardwire this unit into your car, it acts as a silent guardian while you're completely away. And it doesn't just start recording after someone hits you. Thanks to its buffered recording, it actually grabs and saves the 15 seconds of video before the event happens, along with the 30 seconds after an impact or motion is detected. To really put that into perspective, listen to this micro story from an Amazon reviewer named Julia. Her car got hit by someone backing up in a parking lot. Classic hit and run, right? But because she had parking mode active, the camera caught the whole thing. She filed it with her insurance, was totally clear to fault, and dodged a $2,500 Canadian shop bill plus over $500 in rental fees. This dash cam literally saved her thousands of dollars and made the other driver the high-risk liability. That is a massive win. And look, that 4K resolution, it isn't just marketing fluff. As another 5-star customer pointed out,
The footage actively solves the biggest problem with cheap dashcams: legible license plates. If you're on the highway and someone swipes you, a blurry rectangle does you literally zero good. That 8-megapixel sensor makes sure those tiny, crucial little letters and numbers are crisp. It gives you the exact proof you need for the cops or your insurance company.
Now we have to flip the coin. Section 4. Glitches, heat, and Wi-Fi. This is where those high expectations crash into some pretty frustrating realities.
We have to ground this critique in hard data. When we analyzed the customer feedback, the sheer volume of users complaining about reliability was impossible to ignore. Out of 366 specific mentions of the word reliability in our review data, a staggering 229 of them were negative. People are regularly reporting that the camera would suddenly drop power, just totally freeze up, or straight up refuse to turn on after just a few months.
And the Wi-Fi? It's a major sore spot. Out of 79 specific mentions of Wi-Fi, 50 were overwhelmingly negative. Take Kimberly's review, for instance. She pointed out that even after messing with different frequency bands and channels, the Wi-Fi feature just wasn't broadcasting at all. The app connection was totally dead in the water. For a device that literally advertises 5 GHz Wi-Fi for quick downloads, having to physically pull the tiny SD card out every time you want to check a clip is a huge letdown.
And staying with Kimberly's review for a second, she flagged a serious issue with heat management. Yes, the supercapacitor is rated for high heat, but processing true 4K video generates its own internal heat. She noted that when she ran the H.265 codec, which is this high-efficiency format that compresses big 4K files, overnight in parking mode, the camera got so hot it literally felt scalding to the touch, and that was before the morning sun even hit the car. She actually had to downgrade the video quality just for her own peace of mind so it wouldn't melt.
But honestly, the most alarming flaw comes from users like Mike M., who found the camera failing its one true job. Mike reported that on a simple 10-minute grocery run, the camera would restart at least once, and he figured that 75% of the time, it just wasn't recording his driving at all. Guys, if a dash cam requires you to constantly stare at it while you're driving to make sure it's working, it entirely defeats the whole set it and forget it purpose of having one in the first place.
Which brings us to our final section, the final verdict. Let's pull all these expectations and realities together. So what's the bottom line here? On the pros side, you're getting undeniable, crystal clear 4K license plate reading, a buffered parking mode that genuinely saves people from massive out-of-pocket deductibles, and a supercapacitor that just laughs at extreme weather. But you've got to weigh that against some really finicky Wi-Fi, the real danger of the unit overheating on high-efficiency settings, and those incredibly frustrating recording glitches. Impartially speaking, this camera seems best suited for tech-savvy drivers who really don't mind occasionally formatting their SD cards and troubleshooting an app in exchange for getting premium video quality without paying top-tier prices.
Which leaves us with this final provocative thought to chew on. When you stack up those high-end optical specs that could literally save you thousands of dollars in a hit and run, against the totally real chance of app glitches and occasional recording hiccups, is 4K peace of mind really worth the occasional Wi-Fi headache? Honestly, that is a question only you and your tolerance for tech troubleshooting can answer. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.